I keep getting signs that I just have to do this video raw, not try to preface it too crazy, get into it, say my piece, and then move on. If this is the first time you're seeing me on the interwebs, on the internet at all, or you recognize me from another channel, I just want to say this too. Guys, I am not usually like this and don't want to do this. I usually let these things kind of pass through my system naturally and move on, but I feel like I have to say my piece with this new age spirituality stuff and other spiritual things that go on. And I feel like Source is pulling me to speak on it, to be someone who stands out for the spiritual integrity for the journey of the soul. And I think that's the best way I could word it. So I'm gonna preface really quickly, and then I'm just gonna hop straight in because I've been trying to shoot this video probably for months, and I didn't find a proper way to articulate myself or really convey the message. I kind of spiraled into certain different avenues because there's so much to cover. And I do believe there's others out there that do really care about the integrity of spirituality and give it to you raw and don't try to play you. But sometimes the things I see, just it's like people get misled. And even, but I believe everything happens for a reason. So maybe the people that are getting misled, it's meant to happen to their lives until they course correct and get and hop on the correct path for whatever they're meant to experience within their life. Everything is already written and everything is done in your respective reality and in the book of life. Then at certain times you're meant to go through a little confusion and fear and whatever to experience the true reality you want to experience or whatever you're meant to learn in this life. That's one of the points I want to say before we start this entire video, is that that whole path, course correction, the path that you're taking in life is unique to you. And you need to remember that coming into all of this spiritual knowledge, especially if you're somebody who has fell into this content and then started just, consuming, learning as much as they could, and not just, somebody who had an actual awakening, which to me is still like, if you have a raw awakening, then you probably already know everything I'm about to say. Because there's a difference from being someone who's interested in spiritual concepts and metaphysical stuff, piques their interest, to someone who's innately born to awaken. And I definitely believe everyone has the same amount of potential, but just the people who are born that literally came back, like, you've heard people say in the past, I don't even know if people are saying this anymore, but indigo children, star seeds, whatever, but like not the corny, saying everyone's a star seed, not that. I'm talking about real raw star seeds, like myself and others I've met who have actual psychic stuff that happens to them. Like, I'm telling y'all, this is also why I want to preface the beginning before I get into everything I'm going to say. Because if you watch my other videos and you don't really got to pay close attention because I say it up front, you're going to understand why I'm about to say the things I'm about to say. But yeah, man, I'm talking about those people. If you see my other videos, I've talked about it, man. I was called the devil and everything with things I started to predict in my reality. I'm telling you, I called things before they happened. I called car crashes. I predicted when certain people were going to die, and they died on the dates that I seen in my dream, from the cause of death and everything. So I'm saying these were own family members too. So, but I'm saying all this and prefacing all this because I'm not playing around when it comes to this stuff. And some of the things I see online, or when it comes to money and spirituality and abundance, it's like, okay, I'm going to say my piece and then I'm going to move on. And I know after I do this video, at least for me, kind of like an end of a chapter, I'm not going to pay attention to any of this BS I see online, dude, anymore. I'm going to leave it completely alone. Immediately I see a video, I'm going to get a quick vibe. Like, there was this one woman who ended up, she liked my story, and it was funny because the day that this happened, there was just a bunch of manifestations that were coming true for me, right? But they're already true because there's only now. But it was funny, it was just a reflection of my internal state. Like, one dude telling me about my other YouTube channel, he came in, he was maintenance, he was, yo, remember me when you're famous, because he said, you monetize and everything, so almost, he said, you better remember me. So definitely, I'm getting chills right now because I love stuff like that, because it's validating that you're doing the inner work properly. But anyways, remember, the outside world can't give you anything. You got to feel it inside first. You got to know who you are internally. We're going to get more on that trust. I'm going to be much more intense when I go to say it. But Just right now, I'm keeping it very calm for the beginning of the video. But yeah, man, that lady, and I checked her page. She was talking about, like, um yin and yang, the balance, just, man, everything, talking about realities. She was cool. Never seen her before too, but she's an entrepreneur. Checked her page, everything. I shared it, and then I went on to start talking about my own experience. Literally, as I'm talking about it, boom, I see a notification that she heard, and I was like, that's actually funny, because it just felt like, and when I know so that it was just a timing of things is just so funny. And it was the same day that that guy came and said that. Which, funny enough, this has been a year where I've met multiple people where I don't really talk about my other channel, where they have come and said, like, yo, I just know, like, there's something about you, something something. And it's just funny, because it's like, this is just the inner work I'm doing to myself. Because that, the outside, I mean, I love it when people compliment, but it's like, compliments or criticism, I take them all the same, because I know at the end of the day, I validate myself. And I got to this point after being someone who, I'm telling you, I was going through it. Especially, watch my video if you didn't, about how I like had my awakening. But we're like 6 minutes in, and I know there's probably going to be someone out there that's like, okay, we're rambling too much, maybe skipping certain parts. I really hope you don't. Remember, if this is your first, experience with me, I don't want to come off as like I'm someone who's negative with all of this, or, I'm judging certain ways people go about spirituality. No, I'm just talking about my experience and telling y'all that there is a lot of BS out there, and that there is a certain amount of spiritual integrity that I feel like individuals should keep, especially if they begin to manifest or gain a platform. Because, what's funny, there was a guy who I'd consider my mentor. A long time ago, I made a video on him. Some people, if you find my other channel, you'll know who I'm talking about. But there's multiple of them, but there's a main one, called himself the Death Coach. Shout out to him. But because he, talked about how ancient Egyptians, and deeper than this though, were they were trying to learn how to die and not come back and get out of this reincarnation cycle, which is going to bring me to another point later on. But yeah, man, and how this, he also talked about later on, like, this, literally, this stuff is all about love. And his mentor that took him on, and they were like really close, said it, it's all about love. And it truly is. This whole thing is about love. So I mean this with the deepest love from my heart. Literally, cross my heart, put all those swears on me, I get smited down now. Because I'm telling you guys, I've tried to shoot this video so much, and I think I'm just being too particular about it, and I just need to flow. So here it goes. First thing I'm going to say is, there are certain spiritual systems that are, okay, African spiritualism, whatever we want to say, any group of people, spiritualism out there, will work depending on if you were brought up in that system and your mind is already programmed to receive your messages from the divine like that. Otherwise, drop it. And I'm saying this for somebody who may be getting confused, because you're the one that is connecting with the divine. Now, certain cultures and civilizations, whatever, knew this in the past. Hence is why religion is so controlled. They know how to access the divine. They know it's your subconscious mind. This is all psychology. To tap into that higher psychology, that higher self, that God self. You can speak to that energy and see it speak to you. Trust me, I've had meditations where I've meditated, and it's funny because a content creator that I like to watch for reminders here and there, he said the same thing happened to him in one of his meditations experiences, and that's when I knew for sure what I was going through was crazy. But my mentor also talked about it before, but it just recently started happening where I was seeing wormholes. My whole body was vibrating, that it almost scared the shit out of me, where I felt like fire going up the center of me. And then it felt like literally like my forehead like widened. And I've had nut experiences in meditation. And that's why I say meditation is one of the most powerful things you can do, because you have everything you need inside you. Now, anyways, with that said, whether it's African spiritualism, Greek mythology, whatever you want to trust. Funny enough, I had somebody comment on my videos, and it would be divinely connected if this person sees this video. just on a totally different channel that I never advertised. There was somebody that said, I think they said like blessings of Thor or Heimdall or something, or I said blessings of Heimdall to something they said about the Norse gods, because I said I'm really into the Norse gods. That's like, I mean, I started with Greek, right? When, you know, because I always believed in divinity, but I believed in the polytheism, that there was multiple gods that were running certain things and one person wasn't just running it all, because that would probably be a lot on their plate. But I was thinking about it in a human mindset, but also it just made sense to me that different gods were in charge of different things, because if I was truly in my divine state, I would set up little people under me to be, hey, look, you got the grass, you got the crops that these little mofos out here are growing, you got this part, you're gonna you're a psychopomp, you're gonna transfer the souls, Hermes, you got that, run them back and forth between the underworld, you know. Hades, you're my main man, most sane of the Greek gods, I'm gonna keep you. You know what I'm saying? But that's all me just messing around and joking. But seriously, in all of these pantheons and stuff, you can find comparisons or draw these comparisons to all other cultures, because we're all a collective consciousness. That's why these deities seem very similar to each other. You got Ra, and then you got Thor, and then you got Zeus, and then you got, wait, Thor, Zeus, Odin. Odin kind of seems like Zeus. And it's like, yes, no shocker, because it doesn't matter where we are in the center of the world, or I almost said in the center of the world, but that was a Freudian slip. It doesn't matter where we are on the world, is what I meant to say. We have this thing. Oh, there was a psychologist who talked about it, where it's like, if somebody on one side of the world discovers something, that means somebody on the other end is going to have that idea or whatever at the same time. And that's because we're a collective consciousness. So it's like, of course, if somebody, like even the space race or these ideas, it's like, whatever you're developing, your ideas aren't your own. It's a collective consciousness. You're downloading this. Your brain is the receiver, it's frequency. So, going back to the whole cultures and these beliefs, whether it be polytheism, whatever, religion more controlled, but the more spiritual system of the ancient day people, even me, I'm indigenous. So, Native American, all this, all, Thunderbird, whatever creatures we got, kind of very slightly different between different tribes, but still this interconnectedness with nature. It's like, it's all the same. It's deities that somebody made in their mind and then made a system. So there was like a one guy, maybe one guy or a group of people who were like, yo, let's just say that these thunderstorms in the sky are Zeus, and now thunderstorms are associated with Zeus and lightning and the god of the gods, and then you got the titans and the primordial forces. And it's like, no matter what, those are all aspects of our mind, because what are you first? You're the observer. Now all of this I'm saying is going to help me. That was a quick check. All of this is going to help me segue into what I'm about to say. Is you are abundant. You were born rich. You were born you need to understand, you were born with everything you needed. This is a human experience for a reason. There is nothing outside of yourself that's going to validate you. Now, I understand getting accolades and all that stuff, and whatever you may feel like you need to do on your soul journey is important to you. Yes, do that. I don't want to take away from that. But you're going to understand and realize to a point, like, when those old people get to their deathbed and they be like, damn, I wish it was just I had more of a community, or I just did that thing, or I made that jump, or I wasn't scared, or blah, 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 XYZ, whatever they say. It always comes back down to the self. They wish they just would have listened to themselves. They wish they would have, I wish I would have shot. I meant shoot my shot with that person, like flirt with the person, but I said something else that just cracked me up, bro. But I don't want this video to get flagged, so I'm just going to cut it out really quickly. So you guys probably saw it cut. But, all these things that these people say, it always revolves back around the self, that they wish they would have just taken this chance and just didn't care what anybody else thought, or they just lived their life for them. And to be truly fulfilled, you have to understand it's about the self. This isn't no narcissistic weird business. And see, here's the thing, this is how you catch people who are using terms and words that they do not know what the hell they're talking about, is when they learn it from TikTok once, hear about it, then hear about what narcissistic traits may may be or whatever, and then immediately they're a psychology expert. Bro, I'm over here fumbling on my words because that is one of the things that absolutely blows my mind out of everything I ever like. They hear one video and now they're an expert on psychology. It's like, no, no, you're not. Stop. Study on it. Like, narcissists have a gain. They want to siphon you from energy. So the thing is actually loving yourself and actually pouring into your own cistern. I did that for certain people, if that sounds familiar. Pouring into yourself, pouring that love into yourself, waking up in the morning, looking at your face and being like, I love you. You are fucking worth it. It's not vanity. It's not, no. It becomes those things when it's for external validation. But it's like, bro, I was the same guy. And I said this like, I'm the same kid in my heart, not him anymore because he's evolved. And this is how we go through so many different parallel universes as we live. We don't even realize it. We go through so many chapters. But I want to tie everything back together. But what I want to say before this is just that, bro, I couldn't even order my own food. I was so anxious, so scared to even talk to girls, all this. And I've gotten all my entire life that I'm handsome, that I'm this, that I'm that. But I used to think people were lying because I was just so scared. Like, so, but I also was so reserved and wise very young that there were certain teachers that would say this about me that was like, yo, I've never met somebody like you who I feel like has taught me so much about life. And I was like, wow, they're saying this about me. Like, I didn't even know I was doing this. I was just being me, right? But I was really reserved, you know. And had certain people who would come by who end up telling me that like they like me, and I never really realized. It was just, I had such an interesting experience versus what and who I thought I was, because who I thought I was and all of that literally dictated how I experienced reality, which is why I'm telling you guys this. I wasn't that confident. I wasn't, I was confident when certain circumstances came to me. But what I'm saying is basically I was the same. I couldn't even order my own food at a restaurant. I would sit there silent, just staring. Like, I'm telling you guys, that's who I was. But nowadays, it was crazy. My stepdad looked at me when I got back from Texas, when I was living in Texas. Dude was like, yo, I can't believe you're that same boy. You're that same kid. I can't even recognize, like, you can't even recognize you. I remember a time where you wouldn't, I'd send you up to do something, you wouldn't even move. And that's what I'm saying, because I can't, I as is, all these new terms and stuff, I quantum shifted, I psychologically shifted, I whatever. I just naturally, through everything that I learned and went through in my awakening, I shifted over to a different version of myself. I aligned with a different version of myself, because I could have grew up and still been that really reserved person. And in a way, I am still this extroverted introvert where I love talking to people, love meeting new people, love hearing, you know, about people's journeys, everything. I love meeting new people, but I mostly keep to myself in my main life, right? But anyways, why I'm saying all this to y'all and just tying it all together is because loving yourself and truly embodying yourself, and if somebody tries to, as long as you're not externally looking for anybody to validate you, you are the shit. Let me tell you right now, you are the shit. You are whole and complete. You are everything you need. You are a beast. You don't need anything outside of yourself. Validate yourself, love yourself, look in the mirror no matter how cringe it is, because our brains are programmed through repetition, trauma, and symbols. Traumatize yourself in that mirror. You better look in the mirror and be like, God damn, you're beautiful. God damn. Like, I'm telling y'all, because this is exactly how I got over my own thing. I looked at me and I was like, you know what? People may be telling the truth. Maybe I actually am handsome. Maybe I'm this. It started subtle. I had to work up, because remember, everybody has a different process. No, there's many paths that lead you back to home. And home, I'm talking about the divine on a deeper sense, but there are many paths, all roads lead to home, Rome, whatever, put it together. I'm saying home, but I'm saying the saying. But anyways, why I want to say all this is because, see, I see people nowadays say that there's like this this narcissistic thing, and it's like, yo, it has nothing to do with any of this spiritual stuff. Let me tell you, like, you need to feel 100% like I don't know, some people put on the God mentality, Mamba mentality. Look at David Goggins. Like this mentality where you got to be, to truly tap into your divinity and your creativity and everything within your mind. Like, I mean, look at anybody successful. I remember I was watching recently with my girlfriend. I was watching Gordon Ramsay on Sean Evans thing, and he was talking about a certain part of, like, talking about people who criticize you, and his you can just see through his mindset how he knows how, like, through all of the, probably all of the trenches he's been through with cooking and becoming this master, this chef, master of his craft, and just an honorable individual. He said, like, those people that really criticize you are the ones that are staring, they're like on the outside staring in, wishing that they could be you, or wishing that they could have that. And that's what I've seen in a lot of this spiritual stuff. A lot of people, will call certain things narcissism, this, that, and that, but they'll say they're spiritual. But you know what? It's funny. It reveals that they actually haven't done the work, or they actually don't like themselves. Because the thing is everything outside of you is a mirror of you. Everyone is the same thing. We're all under God. We're all divine. We're all collective. We're all a part of this collective consciousness. So if you hate something or dislike something outside of yourself, and I'm talking from a self-concept standpoint, then that means it's something that's lacking within you. Now there are certain people who are arrogant and do things that they try to look like they're the baddest in the room and stuff like that. And that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the individual who's in the room, who's calm, collected, doesn't need to prove himself, just shows up as him, just shows up as that aura. Like, yeah, I'm a goat. I'm a legend. I put in the work. I did what I did. I don't have to prove it to any of y'all, because I know who I am internally. It's like that individual, that's true aura. Like and so there's a difference. I don't like how people try to blanket statement group all of this stuff together, because it's not the same. That can end up confusing people. And it's not their fault if they don't intend to do that and they don't mean that it ends up confusing people, but it really can. It can confuse people if you don't get it. So self concept and believing in yourself, number one, will literally kill off any anxiety, depressions, and things you have. Trust me, I know. And meditation, like I said. But you don't have to meditate. You can just walk through it naturally. There's so many accounts of people who have done it. Just find those individuals. But that's what I want to say, is all these spiritual systems, this BS that I see online, it's like, no, bro, like all of this stuff I see, it's no, it's, if you want to interact with the divine, well, then you better claim your birthright. You better know what and who the hell you are, and you will tap into a higher consciousness. Because when some people ask, like, if God exists, why does all this bad happen? Why does this happen? Why don't you go within yourself and find out? Because that's a question that I had before I awakened it. Why does all this happen? Till I realized, oh, now I started to see why it happens. It's not because of some external entity that was created. I get it. And I I'm not going to say here in this video. If anyone's ever curious, y'all could DM me if you want my thoughts on that, or what I've found and know to be true for myself. But it was freeing. But all I'm going to say is, you have all the answers within you. You don't need to eat spirulina, sea moss, this, that, whatever. You don't need to be vegan to be this. You're the one controlling your reality. That's the one thing that I want to take away from, is the only thing that people who, like, if they genuinely have spiritual integrity about this, they will tell you that you can only save yourself. You can only do the work. I don't have an issue with any other medium. I love the human design, but funny enough, human design just showed me all the stuff I already known about myself. It was so funny when this woman, great, she was fucking awesome individual in my life. She introduced me to human design. When I ended up looking at human design, um the human design just reflected all the things I already knew about myself. And I was like, oh, I'm not shocked. This woman actually did a reading for me too. She was super awesome. She said when she had meditated on my energy or something, I showed up super powerful, like a force, like a real force, really energetic in the spiritual realm. And I'm like, well, hey, that's cool. Because I mean, I was like, yeah, I guess I'm not that surprised, because um how my awakening happened and everything, it was pretty intense, dude. I went through pretty raw awakening that anyone could go through. And I had the experience of having, losing friends, gaining new friends, shocking certain individuals with the psychic stuff, like knowing things about people that I didn't even know. And when I talk to them, they're like, yo, how do you know this about me? I just met you. And I'm like, dude, I don't know, man. I'm tripping. This is crazy. Like, I really thought I was bugging. But so I say this again too, to just drive that point forward home too, that this is who is talking to you. You guys have to understand, it doesn't matter. You're writing the rules, like your consciousness. Understand, this nervous system regulation, shadow work, whatever it may be, it starts with you. It starts with it starts with you, and it's trust in self. And really hear me, it starts with you. Anytime I manifested something, I realized no matter the technique, it was me. Once you notice that, then you can start moving on to the more advanced stuff where you just need your mind and you're just like, oh, I don't need anything outside of myself. I don't need the techniques. But you have to understand how impressionable your mind is. Like, the moment you tell yourself you're required to do something, you can put yourself in such a dangerous loop. Like, oh, I need to freaking wake up 5:30 a.m. every day, see the sun with both eyes, and splash water on my face and inject myself with sea moss. If I miss one day, I lose all my manifestations. Okay, now that you said that about yourself, that becomes your reality. So now, through how anxiety and depression are created, you're going to start getting anxious if you miss those mornings. When those morning comes, and maybe somebody can go that hard on themselves, I'm telling you, that's a very dangerous thing to do, because then this leads into other stuff I'm talking about, where certain people are like, you got to start saying understand, overstand, understand, and you got to start, you got to switch up your language to really be locked in, to really know, like, oh, don't say good morning, because good morning means you're mourning the dead and we wake in the morning. But wait, we're the living dead because we're waking in the morning, and you say good morning and that means we're mourning each other. It's like, no. You know where the Bible said that too? Well, yes, but you know where the Bible said that let the dead bury their dead, and the world outside of you is the dead world? It's because it's cause and effect. The real internal heaven and world is in your mind. So let the dead play with the dead. That's why there were these sayings like, yes, like good morning, because yeah, we're dead now. That's the real world's in your mind. When you die, hello, soul, you're going to be up here. And this is where I'm about to get more intense with this. It's like, so anything you're doing in the physical is what you choose. It's really what you choose. Whatever spiritual system works for you, but none of them are the one right key to it. It's you're the one right key to it. If you don't realize that, you're never going to get these experiences. You're always going to be asking people outside of yourself, how are y'all doing this? How are you doing this? How I just can't get over this in my mind. I have all these bad thoughts. I have this, I that. Man, I tried this. I tried tarot. I tried astrology. I tried, and I still seem to not. I'm not. What am I? I'm not channeling things. I'm not getting these experiences. And it's like, yeah, because it's you. Who is the person doing it? Because if you're someone trying to make something happen, I'm going to meditate to see this, and then you don't see anything and you're doing it to yourself. It's you. You're programming your reality. If no ifs, ands, or buts about it, you're programming it no matter what. If you believe in the soul, you believe in the God, and you believe in the God within you, when you come to the age of all your programming is done, now it's on you. So say you're born, you took whatever contract before you were born. You had certain family, maybe they're an ass family, maybe they're a good family, whatever. Even if you still have a good family, you have to realize where you've been programmed there for certain beliefs, which is fine. Doesn't mean you got to get rid of them, because there's a better programming and a non-better programming. So like, I'm always love, I'm always accepted, I radiate love. That's better than saying I don't deserve love and all that. So maybe you're in a family where that said, you deserve love, you're this, you're blah blah blah. That's good programming. You were still programmed. So wake up to the fact that you've been programmed. But now, so now that you've gotten through that, you know, young age of all the programming, now you're at the age where you got to realize you program yourself. And certain things that you may believe now, and may be causing things to happen in your reality, were passed down from you. And the same thing is applied to all of this shit that some of these content creators do too. Some of these spiritual content creators, they're putting beliefs on you that if you accept them or you let them leak into your mind, you'll end up start having to experience reality based on their rules that they made for you. That's why I heard another content creator say he doesn't mess with the certain individuals that say, let me tell you what's going to happen. And the he makes this voice. Y'all probably know who I'm saying because I've already referenced him in videos, but he goes, the next best technique, bro. But it's so serious. It's so serious because people fall in this trap of like, I just got to watch another video, or I got to watch all these, here's your monthly reading video. And it's okay. As long as, again, here's the spiritual integrity part. As long as they're telling you, you control your reality though. Like, you're the one who accepts that this is going to happen to you in a few months or not, we're good. But if you literally read one of these videos and you're like, you know what, this person is literally telling me what's going to happen, you lost the plot, bro. There's no right or wrong way to be spiritual. We're all divine beings having a human experience figuring it out. That's why I don't talk down on any technique, any religion, or any whatever, because religions and techniques and all of this stuff is just literally confirmation about how we once forgot who we are. Now we're waking up to the truth of who we are, and all of us out there are trying to remember. We're slowly picking up the breadcrumbs that our soul is dragging us along to pick up the breadcrumbs and put together the whole loaf of, oh, we were sourced the whole time, and laugh it off and come to this realization like, damn, I had this thing all mixed up. That's the thing. This whole journey is the journey of you. There's no right or wrong way. Gotta be vegan, gotta not be vegan, gotta take taro, gotta not take taro. Oh no, I better not say that. No, test everything. You are an alchemist. If you're not getting results, do something different. Do something different. You are an alchemist. You can flip everything. Shit, if the whole crowd in spirituality and you're getting caught in the new age is saying, all right, spirulina, be like, no, I'm going to use Fanta soda. I'm going to use Fanta soda to talk to tree spirits. Like, why not? You're an alchemist. You transmute energy. Do you get what that means? I'm going to transmute all of what the spiritual community is doing it and using it. You know, I've heard one person say that they did this whole ritual. I'm not gonna say who, but it was crazy. They're past, they're since past. But they talked about in one of their videos where they did this. There was something going on in the world, a big event. My man funneled all the energy to him. He put on a belief where he said, you know what, when people are praying to this thing or this object, when they put energy into it, it's just gonna help me on my spiritual journey. And the thing is because reality responds to how you're seeing it. There's no rules. That's the thing that people understand. Don't understand. They're putting a human mindset on the mind of God. But didn't the Bible tell you your ways are not of my ways? You don't understand. You got to get out of your own way to manifest. You understand. Open yourself to be the receiver. Download shit, everything, everywhere, all at once. The things you're going to do don't make sense. It doesn't make sense. A divine mind is not concerned with the way, like, a divine mind would not be thinking. Y'all got to really understand, if all these mediums of like fantasy games and all this shit are showing y'all how a god would operate, because it'd be a god, you wouldn't give a fuck, you'd be indifferent. You are allowed to think and believe any any way you want, and that's literally the key that's going over a lot of people's heads for how to have actual supernatural experiences. Or even, there's a book recommended me by a dude who, really fucking dope dude. I will always honor this guy. I'll always say it. I feel like sometimes I'm getting too old to say this shit, but honestly, in my heart, he's really like somebody who is meant to be a spiritual guide. Very talented artist in this world, like big. A lot of people know him. Not Don't need to name him. Don't want to say be like weird cloud. But we're this far in the video if anyone got this far. But he's an artist that a lot of people would know. Back then, I sent a DM to him because I was losing my mind, and this dude responded and really gave me the key, and also recommended me a book to get. And he said, "Get this book, and if you understand it, like it'll give you everything." And in this book is called, I don't know if I have it with me, but How the Spiritual World Projects into the Physical Existence. The works of Rudolf Steiner, something like that. So if you want that book, go get it. This book literally explains it. You guys think human thoughts, like, and they do interact with the spiritual world, but do you understand that feeding the spiritual looks a lot different than physically feeding yourself? Like, all the information and knowledge you take on here, like, hey, I want to be a YouTuber, so I learn this, or you learn certain steps, or I want to play this video game, so I got to learn the rules to the game. Well, that's the same thing with the conscious game and the spiritual game. If you're walking in the journey to remember who you are, oh, trust and believe that It's a game of the internal. You're not getting to your higher self by sitting here thinking, "Oh, poor me. Why does this happen to me? Why this?" And man, I don't like those people who do these types of videos. And oh, I don't like the people who say they're not into politics because they're spiritual. Like, what? You have to be into politics. Like, ground yourself. Like, that doesn't make sense. Don't be so, cosmically minded that you're not on the earth, that the earth is no good, bro. This is why I'd be saying I feel like some of these people are really playing y'all. Like, that they get a platform literally through the way manifestation works. So they believed in themselves. They had a urge to share. They knew who, they knew they would connect with people. They knew people would like their information. Then they blow up, they get to a certain point, then they start saying stuff like, yeah, I stay away from those people that are like this and like that. And they just start exposing themselves. And I'm like, I'm so ironic. I catch it every time. It's funny. I've seen a couple of content creators who I knew were odd, like, you know, and then they get exposed. Maybe that's my reality. So I'm seeing it happen. But there was, my girlfriend was actually laughing about this. There was a couple content creators where I knew there was just something weird about them who got very big on the world stage, then all of a sudden exposed. And that's what I'm telling you. Like these people be pretending who they are sometimes. But no, you get the result because remember, God is indifferent. This thing is indifferent. So you can get a real. That's why it's like people wonder why all the bad happens. I'm really trying to tell y'all this divinity. The reason it's so chaotic on this plane is because divinity exists and because anything could be a possible reality. It's a multiverse. So start aligning yourself for what you really want to experience, dude. And I'm being so serious, bro. That was one of the videos that actually prompted me to make this video. Is I seen someone that they claimed to be spiritual, which they are. I want to say, I'm not gonna say names. I really actually don't even remember the name of this woman, but she was like, she doesn't really rock, I guess, with people who aren't into politics, but they say they're all love and light or something like that. And it's like, okay, so now we're talking about other people in a way, like, you see, they contradict themselves, bro. And that's why I said this video's from the heart, and I just want to be real. The real, genuine people who are spiritual titans are really not out here saying anything. They're really like leaving the. They're really not, like, there are, but it's very thin. I feel like on social media that there's real spiritual titans out here really putting out like information like that. Like, I'm saying like a lot because y'all have to understand. I don't really I don't really feel like there's real spiritual titans. They're out doing the work and enjoying their life that are really out here giving y'all game. And if they are, they're probably a really raw motherfucker and an individual that's maybe, like, sometimes I feel like this, like, especially when like there's a movie with a lot of hints in it, or really could be a really metaphysical movie, and there's a lot of hints and stuff, but it's rated the worst, and it's like, oh, we need to go see that movie because they rated it bad. I feel like some of the rawest motherfuckers on here probably sound the worst, say some extreme stuff that probably triggers the shit out of you. Like, it's gotta be, or they're just raw. Like, who know? Like, they don't give a shit. They. But if it feels like they're wearing a mask or something, I don't know, because discernment's different from person to person. But you got to make sure that you're paying attention to the information and not your own personal bias about the messenger who's giving the message. Like, don't shoot the messenger, or don't pay attention to the messenger. Listen to the message. So it's like, even me, I'm just channeling. Don't look at my appearance and all this. Oh, like I'm this black man and all that. It's like, that's not who I am. I'm source in. I'm you. I'm you watching this video. We are literally the same. We're consciousness. We're not these bodies, race, and all that stuff. We didn't know that before we came to this world. So listen to the message and the frequency, not the thing. So that's what I'm saying, is like, you really got to pay attention to that aspect of things. If it's really somebody just giving raw, like, how to do this. But what I'm telling you is there is fundamentals that are applied to everything. But it's almost like some of these people who talk about these fundamentals try to switch it around and act like these fundamentals don't exist, or just lose weight when it comes to, like, certain things like tarot or any of these spiritual things that are out. Like, it's like, you are the one true thing. The all is the mind. Go back to the 7 hermetic principles. Go to the Kabbalah and these emerald tablets, these ancient texts. It is you. That's why it's know thyself. It is know thyself. It is know thyself. It is know thyself. It is know thyself. I want to say it again. It is know thyself. You can't lie to self because God is always watching. You are one with God. You are God. God is within. So God knows when you're lying to yourself. You are self. You are the self. Know thyself. You cannot bullshit yourself. So if you're pretending, oh, grand rising, beloved, and all that, is that not natural? If that's not natural, you are lying to yourself. The journey is you. Pay attention to it. Be on it, bro. I love this shit because it's funny because I remember certain people tried to scare me in the beginning with that shit, telling me I was into certain devil things and like all my visions and stuff where like the devil was blessing me and everything. And it's like, oh, years later, and I haven't been taken out for communing with the devil. Like, it's not, bro. This is bullshit. That's all a fucking distraction. The devil and the God are good and evil. The duality you're fighting within yourself. It's you. It's only you versus you. You are the God within yourself that's holding yourself back. And that's exactly, if you watch my awakening video, that's exactly how I awakened. I literally shouted to the clouds. I was like, I'll take you on. I'll take the devil and you on, God. Fuck with me. I'll beat both of you. Like, I literally went that hard. Then one night, boom, it was this. Now I'm like jumping in the future. But then one night it was like this. I was like, you know what? God, show me who you are. What are you? All of a sudden, I'm like dozing off in that state akin to sleep that Neville Goddard talks about. I'm just dozing like this. All I hear is this voice. You are God. Like that. Boom. Booming. And it sounded like my voice, but divine and thundering. Like it scared the shit out of me. And then there was like other weird occurrences where I was looking in the mirror. There's one dream I had where I was saving children and like this energy rained down from the clouds and it told me to remember who I was. And another one, this woman told me I was meeting Mother Sophia, but this lady gilded in light, she like cradled me. She was golden, lifted me in my dream, and then I woke up, but she told me to remember her and remember love. It was fucking crazy. Like these divine, like I'm having all these wild spiritual experiences and shit. And I'm telling y'all, it's not to anything I was watching. I wasn't consuming any of this stuff. So that's why I'm trying to tell y'all I have the raw experience of dreams, everything, lucid dreaming. I'm telling y'all, it's just within, bro. It doesn't matter if you'll end up reading these books, which I do definitely say go to the books first. Also, if somebody's real raw and they'll tell you where they did their shit, ask them where they got their information from if they got it from books. But blah blah blah. That's the biggest way to tell. But man, I'm telling you, dude, I've had these crazy, crazy spiritual experiences. And I'm telling you, it was not from being vegan. It wasn't from doing this. It wasn't from communing with it's like, bro, we're natural born gods. What are we talking about? That's why I'm like, bro, I can't pay attention to this. And I actually heard another content creator say that he was talking to a content creator that told him, see, this is why I don't pay attention to this shit because it'll start getting to you. And that's why I said after I make this video and say my piece, I'm done because it does. It gets to you because I'm like, bro, it feels like people are lying to people. It's like if everyone actually really did wake up and realize their power within them, you would shift this entire reality into whatever we wanted it to be. Like genuinely. Some of the collective beliefs that people put out, the economy is this, that, the world, the red and blue government, all that. And it's like, do you understand why they keep you that distracted? If you're hearing about this old world and all this stuff and that the power is in the people and all that, but then y'all aren't really embodying that, you're never going to see it. That's why I don't pay attention to these content creators that say, oh, like, yeah, like, oh, but if you manifest a Bugatti and stuff, why don't you manifest a war ending and all that? And it's like, that's like the trap they try to get you in. And I want to say this anyways. Not everybody wants to manifest abundance like in that way. Some people just want financial freedom. That doesn't look like $1,000,000. It could be literally anything. It could be like the best job in the world. You don't know. God's ways are not of your ways. You have no idea how your higher self will bring something to you. It could give you one of the best jobs in the world where it doesn't even feel like you're working, where you may meet your wife at, where then all of your bills are taken care of, all of this, but you don't mind working for this boss because it's the dopest boss you've ever met in your life. Like, you don't know. It's not just $1,000,000 and Bugattis and this. And these content creators, bro, they twist. It's so crazy how this consciousness tries to twist and mold itself into different. It's distraction, bro. Do not get caught by the world of illusion, bro. This is the Maya. That's why the Mayans call themselves the Mayans. This is the Maya. It's an illusionary world. They knew it was an illusion. This is the Maya, bro. Don't fall for the Maya. The real world's internal. You are God. You are one with God. You are one with this consciousness. Don't get caught in these games. This is my last video on this. I'm never talking about this shit again. I'm just going to talk my shit on my videos. And that's it. Much love. Love y'all. Shift the world. That is what Solithic Shift is about. Let's get back to our regular scheduled programming. Ain't that funny? Programming.